A value add mindset is pro growth. And if you ask me, I'd want to believe that everybody should be pro growth, regardless of whether you work for yourself, you're an entrepreneur, you work for yourself, you work for organizations. Everybody should be pro growth. The question then arises, what are the limitations to having that mindset? Why is it that everybody does not have that mindset? Why do we have people who have nothing and yet do not desire to even grow? What are limitations to having that value added mindset?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost is when people see the value that they're adding to themselves, they see it as a cost rather than an investment.
Mm,
Okay? They see it as a cost rather than an investment. When something is a cost, you're constantly thinking about, oh, I don't have the money for this, or I don't have the time for this. You're always thinking about what it's going to take out of you
mm,
as opposed to what it's going to add to you.
mm,
Because you're talking about investment, an investor will always naturally talk, when they think about investment, they're thinking about the ROI, the return on investment. So while they're investing, they've already projected to the ROI. So that's one of the limitations when you are not quick to see that everything you do for yourself, especially in line with, that is in line with your vision, your focus, it should be seen as an investment with a capital I
mm.
and not as a cost. And then you will be expecting a return. You'll be expecting a return because the kind of effort you put into it is such that we know you're expecting something from it.
Give me a practical example, and I know you're very much in tune with the corporate environment, but I'm sure we'll have listeners or viewers who do not work in a formal, setting, do not work in any kind of formal environment. They work from a day-to-day, hand-to-mouth kind of, um,
Mhm.
transactions or business. How would that person see any value in having this kind of mindset or investing in themselves, as opposed to somebody who works in an office where there's hierarchy and there's an opportunity for growth?
I'll give you a very good example. So, okay, say for example, you're self-employed,
Oh,
right? Is that what you mean?
sorry?
So you don't work in corporate, you are self-employed. Is that what you
Yes, you're
Michael?
self-employed.
Maybe
You
you are
you push you
self-employed.
push a truck, for instance. You push a truck. I mean, we're from Lagos.
Yeah.
You are what, a conductor. Agbero from Oshodi. How would that person see
Yes.
any interest in adding value to themselves?
Oh my goodness. You see, one of the key things about value add is how customer centric that makes you, right? People will seek you out because there's something different about you from other admirals.
Hmm. A good
There is,
Agbero, a special Agbero.
you are admiral with plus plus plus,
Hmm. 2.0.
right? Yes. It is a 4.0 admiral because we're in the industrial age. Because they know, have you seen an admiral that is, they don't necessarily even have to go to a formal school.
Yeah.
Well, you see them seeking knowledge. They want to associate with the people that they perceive are better than they are so that they can learn from them. So they are like sponges.
Hmm.
They learn. They learn the art of listening to the customer, right? They don't do things the way that is expected, that society expects them to. So the thing that they want to do is distinguish themselves. You will gravitate towards them.
Hmm.
Let's talk even beyond agri. Let's talk about a chemist, or somebody we call chemist in Lagos, who
Hmm.
has a side shop, right? The value add, for that person will be the knowledge that they seek that other people are not even expecting them to have.
Hmm.
So when you come into their shop, and they add that to their customer centric mentality, because they treat their customers in a different kind of way. See, at the end of the day, what we want to see is, how do I stand out? Because we live in a world where everybody can be put in the same category,
Hmm.
right? So how do I add such value to myself? How do I invest in myself
Mm.
such that there's no way, there's no gainsay, I stand out? So for example, even if they say there's no money, right? You know that the average person now has, phone
Yeah.
with with internet,
Mm.
right? Go on YouTube, learn something different. Google it. Google it. If you see a drug or a medicine that you're not familiar with, or you want to know more about the components or whatever, Google it. Make use of what the resources you have. It's not all about money, because we have time investments as well, right? And another thing is knowing the people who you should associate with, who add value to you. Those are the people that you draw from. That you've noticed them, you've located them, you know that they're a well of knowledge, of wisdom, and all that. Look for mentorship with people can lead you to
Mm.
getting more.
Mm.
So it's not all about physical cash. It's all about the way you think.
Yeah.
I know somebody who is a mechanic, and when they say, "Oh, do something," you see the person with the phone. You think he's watching maybe video. He's looking at YouTube videos on how this thing is being done, how to do the spark plug. He's looking at YouTube videos.
Mm.
Tell me how that person will not stand out? It's a way of thinking. That's why it's a mentality.
Yeah.
Because it's not a mentality. The average person, say for example, our country is in such a bad way around and everything. The average person will tell you, auntie, I don't have money for this. They have every excuse. And for many, it's a reason not to do something for themselves, not to add value to themselves. Because I have to determine what is value for me and what am I adding, right? So if you think about it only in terms of money and all the things you don't have, then you're not well placed to start thinking of, okay, I don't have it, but how can I get an alternative? You become really resourceful.
Mm.
And so you're looking for alternatives because you know what the benefit is for you. You know what the potential that you have.
Yeah.
You want to say, no, I'm not stopping at this level. I want to go higher. So you look for the people who can help you. You look for other avenues where you can source for what you need, as opposed to just thinking of what you don't have, what is beyond your reach.
Yeah. So,
Hope that
what
answers your
what you're saying is, regardless of which example we choose to use, whether an agbero or a manager, a truck pusher, or um, regardless, there is no limitations. There
there's
shouldn't be
no
any limitation to having that mindset.
yes. At the end of the day, what we're talking about is, how do you stand out? How do you show up?
Mm.
How do you,
Regardless of the industry you are in.
regardless of where you are,
Mm.
how does an omodo stand out?
And that's
How do you
that's 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 a good one, because in the last few years I've seen how you say omodo house, here we call it house help. See how a house help goes from just being a house help that takes care of chores, sweeps, cleans, and also adds being able to teach. So the
yes.
house help can then now teach, and then that house help separates themselves from other house help, and then you can then begin to even negotiate. I want something more, or the your employer can, why not add a bit more, because you're bringing something extra than just
Yes.
an average, you know, house help.
An omodo can house help. Sorry, I just remember
Yeah.
my native Lagos. A
Yeah,
house help.
I know that country. And speaking about, you've spoken about Nigeria, and as Nigerians, I mean, which country can't speak too much about,
It
even,
cuts across,
you know,
Michael.
it
It doesn't
does.
matter. I only say Nigeria because we are both Nigerians and we're familiar with
Yes,
Nigeria.
yes.
But it cuts across anywhere.
But
I'll tell you
in
something, right?
in saying
You,
that though,
yeah,
in saying
yeah,
that
go ahead.
though, in saying that though, fortunately, I'm speaking to somebody who's lived in different continents, and you have firsthand experiences of how it, the dynamic nature of having that mindset, or how individuals fare in these various, environments. I'm here in South Africa from Nigeria, and I can tell you the environment differs a bit. It does differ a bit. certain things that I thought in Nigeria or how I used to think back home. And I'm sure it's the same thing. How I think here, if I move to a different environment, it definitely will influence how I think. So, how then does your environment influence you having, you've used fixed and growth mindset? How does your environment influence you having either of these two kinds of mindset?
Absolutely. You know, the environment plays a part as well. You know, when we cannot, when we live in environments
Hmm.
where we cannot even conceive, right, something better, because, you know, it becomes really oppressive. You know,
Hmm.
everything around you is not working, right? It takes a lot to dig deeper, an emphasis on the word digging deeper, to say, is there anything that's even possible for me beyond what I see? So in fact, you're right, the environment impacts. So when you see people from the Western world, you know, while it's still a mindset, but they are more, I suppose it's more attainable
Hmm.
for them, right? When you talk about those opportunities to 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 for growth and development,
Yeah.
for learning and development, those opportunities they're more accessible. But I'll still come back to the same thing. Um, you see, when we are without, you see, when we are without vision, and I didn't want to go here, but let me just quickly touch on it. You see, vision is very important. Where we see ourselves going, where we see ourselves
Hmm.
situated, it's so powerful. I believe that when we have a vision of where we are going, where we want to be,
Yeah.
then it gives us that motivation to dig deeper and, where, break the boundaries that the environment has put around us.
Yeah.
Because our environment does play part. I wonder how, you know, I'm not living in Nigeria, neither are you. I wonder if we'll be having this conversation if we were still in Nigeria.
Hmm.
Would we be, I suppose what we'd be thinking would be so different, you know, to survive. You know, how do we even survive all this wahala? That's what we'll probably be thinking,
Yeah.
right? So it is true. However, I think that when we look at when we conceive that vision and we focus on that vision, we can, it might take us longer.
Hmm.
It might take us longer, but I think that that person will get there.
Hmm.
So while I agree with you, the environment plays a part. I think that when we dig deeper, and also, you see, the world has become a global village right now. It's not like when we I was younger, and at the time I was young, there was no telephone, there was no mobile phone, there was no smartphone, all of those things. The
Serious?
world has, no, there wasn't. There wasn't. Thank you for that.
No, I just had to put that in for
I
clarity.
know, I know. The first time I actually saw a mobile phone was in maybe year 2000.
Yeah, 2000. Yeah.
That was when it first started coming to Nigeria.
Mm.
You know, year 2000. I
Yes,
remember a friend of mine, her brother sent it to her from the US. Then, you know, I suppose people would have been having it, but
I'm
you
sure.
know, you know. So the world is now a global village. So when we talk about environments now, we're not just talking about the environments around our geographical environment,
Mm.
right? So previously we could have talked about our geographical environment and the impact that it has on us because of the challenges that are prevalent. Yes. But now with the world that has become a global village, a 2-year-old, I heard of a 2-year-old in Nigeria that opened a book, right? And instead of wanting to flip it, the child was doing this. You know how you do that on a tablet,
Yeah.
trying to enlarge the picture. That's the kind of people we have now in the world.
Yes.
See, so with the dynamic environment in which we're now living in the global world, we found out that people are able to see more. When what they see now determines what they conceptualize.
Yeah.
So they're able to look at what is obtainable because they are seeing it happen to somebody in the US, but their age mate, in their same condition. They are seeing it happen to somebody in South Africa, somebody in Canada. You see, they are seeing it happen. So now the environment that somebody like I grew up in is now different from the current environment in which people exist. It's become a global village. And so I don't think that the challenges we had in only seeing as far as our environment will permit and needing to dig deeper then to see what can I be, how can I add value to myself in the midst of this really toxic, highly and disabling environment.
Yeah.
How can I do something for myself? It's different now because people can see so much more when they go. They are seeing American Idol, even though they're in Nigeria, even though they're in South Africa, even though they're in Somalia, you
Yeah.
know, even though they're in Ireland, they are seeing what's happening in Canada in real time. So now the environment, yes, does play a part, but how can now it has the potential to play a positive impact because we're no longer hindered by just the geographical dimensions. We are now empowered through the internet to be able to see even more. And when we see more, we conceptualize more and we
Yeah.
can see what is possible for us as individuals and as a collective.
So, in a country like Nigeria, let's use Nigeria as an example. Would it be right to say, in terms of what we're talking about, the mindset, the individuals, regardless of what's happening around you, even in Nigeria, it doesn't stop you from developing the mindset. It can only hinder you from expressing it. So if you do not have access to, say, infrastructure, electricity,
True.
good roads, the enabling environment, all it
Yes.
does is just push you more because now you're almost like a car, a raving engine, and you're not able to move. Because that's what I see with many the youth in Nigeria. They're very skilled. They
Yes.
have the mindset to grow, but just don't have the enabling environment. Would that be a fair statement?
Yes, it definitely be a fair statement. And yes, the mindset is there.
Hmm.
And once the mindset is there, it pushes you.
Hmm.
And I suppose that is why you see a lot of people leaving Africa now, particularly Nigeria at this time, leaving because they are saying, I have the capability for more. I only need that kind of enabling environment.
Yes.
I can do so much more with myself. I can do so much more with my skills. I can add to my skills. I can add to my competencies.
And I
And
want to, and I want
I
to.
want to. I want to. So it gives them because having a value added mindset, which is an offshoot of a growth mindset, is such that it gives you the right attitude as well,
Mm.
right? You're not while you could be frustrated or you could be angry or you could be sad or depressed at some point, you quickly get yourself out and say, what next, girl?
Mm.
How do I get out of this? So while you may be down sometimes, you're not out. You get
Yeah.
yourself back to the game. And so you don't allow, so that's the right attitude. So they have the right attitude as well. And of course, attitude informs behavior.
Behavior. Yeah.
So they now take the corresponding actions that are in line with kind of mindset they have, kind of attitude they have.
Yeah. Slowly coming back home, and I think it's important that we zero this conversation around something that is lived, especially with us, Black Africans and Nigerians. If you use a country like Nigeria and you reference Nigeria as an organization, as a company, it has a structure, it has everything, it has a vision, hopefully. Now, if you put the wrong people
Hmm.
in certain positions,
Hmm.
you obviously have the wrong result. What happens when in a country or in a company you put people that do not have this mindset in such establishments? What happens? That's one question. On the flip side, what then happens when you put people that have the mindset, but the organization itself or the country itself does not appreciate such people?
Hmm. And it's back to what we said before about environments, really, because when you talk about organizations, let's talk about not just person job fit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about person organization fit, right?
Mm.
So when you are when you're looking for a job, I always say to people, always I'm looking for a job, I'm looking for a job. But you also look beyond a job, you look into the organization, right? Can this organization, do we share the same values, right? Is there a fit between me and this organization? It may be the right job, right? But is it the right environment? Is it the right, do they have the right culture that fits with my culture? Because when there's a culture misfit or a culture misalignment, then that means that you cannot thrive. And the emphasis on the word thrive, because we want people to thrive, and that is what allows you to even think about a value-added mindset. That's part of what the growth mindset is about, because we don't want you to just exist in a place where you're just managing it, getting by. We want people to thrive. And so you have to think about, your fit with the environment at that time as it exists. As soon as you think about person, organization fit, do the values, do the vision, does the culture, all of that, does it fit with the environment? Does it fit with the organization? And same as if you have people that have the wrong mindset and they are in an organization that is the organization that has a growth mindset, that has a learning and development culture, that has a culture for employee growth, has a culture of employee engagement, and wants to be a really valuable organization in terms of what it delivers to the society and what it delivers to these internal customers, all of those things, right? When you have those who have that kind of mindset, then you know that that organization cannot grow beyond its people. The people make the place. It cannot grow beyond the kind of people that it has. So it's back to that person organization fit, which is why really, if I want to say dynamic, forward thinking, sensible organizations won't just be looking for those who fit the bill in terms of, oh yeah, they can do the job. Yeah, they can do the job. They might be able to do the job, but are they a fit with where organization, what kind of organization you have, the culture it has, and where it wants to go? Do they have the kind of mindset that you need? Because somebody that needs to learn more, maybe you're looking for 100% of particular skills and competencies, and they have, say, 85%. I'd rather take on someone that has 85% and leaving the person room to grow with the right mindset than someone who has 100% of what I need, but has the wrong mindset. Because your mindset determines, it's like attitude determines altitude. Your mindset determines how things play out for you, who you are, how you come across, your worldview, all of those things. So the mindset is important. And when you have a value-added mindset, you're not thinking of now just staying where you are. You're thinking of, how can I move into upgrade? Ensure you're thinking of, what's my next level? How can I get to my next level? So you're focused. You work on the principle of intentionality, right? So you just don't do things unplanned. What you do is structured, it's planned, because you have somewhere you're going. It's deliberate, and not just deliberate, it's sustained. So all of that allows you to add such value to yourself. You stand out. That's what it is, and I really believe in that.
I sometimes